excellent independent MP for Great Yarmouth, Rupert Lowe. Welcome, Rupert.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I'm very, very good. Now, I want to start with perhaps an unusual topic. A couple of weeks ago, I had on the show, I don't know if your ears were burning, Selina Scott, who shares your view or your abhorrence of halal meat slaughter, and my horror of it as well. What we're talking about is the traditional Islamic way of slaughtering cattle meat, which does not involve stunning them. All other forms of slaughter in this country require a stun gun first, and then, you know, the horror happens. But traditional, classic halal slaughter, no stun. They're just throat slit, they die in agony.
Welcome to podcast number 2, Mud, Sweat and Tears. And tonight we've got 4 very special people. Butchers they are.
Running a small butchery from home, and we farm deer and sheep, among other things.
My name's Rob Unwin. I've had 2 shops now here in sunny Cumbria.
I'm a livestock farmer, predominantly beef, and also got a physical shop over in Retford in Nottinghamshire.
Now, the first question is going to be a pretty hot topic. Halal religious slaughter, because we've got the welfare bill coming in. A lot of people are talking about this. As butchers, as people that are in the industry, what's your thoughts on it?
Last week we were asked by about 5 customers, is your meat halal? And so it is on people's minds, not just people in the trade. People are really, really interested about it. They want to know. Their understanding of the practices, I would say, is limited.
I think the supermarkets, daft as it sounds, they're doing us a favour, because everybody's coming round to the fact now that they are mislabelling things, and they have done for a long time. They've not told the public, they've not been transparent, they've not been honest. And all these people who want to carry on with this religious slaughter, go and watch one. Go and view it. Go and stand in that slaughterhouse and come out at the end of that day and you tell me that it's a good bloody thing.
Talking to my customers last week about it, they actually have zero understanding really of what occurs. And as Rob said, if you go to a slaughterhouse, watching anything die is a nasty experience. But especially with where there is no stunning involved. But,
you know, the general public, like Rob, frustrated farmers, just mentioned, there's a lot of mislabelling in supermarkets. This is a minefield.
This country, religious slaughter has absolutely no place.
it isn't going to get banned, let's be realistic, it isn't.
There's the ignorance of Parliament, isn't it? I mean, didn't Rupert Lowe push it through? Did something with there today after 650 what do you call them, MPs could have signed it, and I think 8 did for this religious slaughter ban.
But this animal welfare bill is, you know, it's supposed to be something massive, but it does show you that religion, killing things, is something that governments don't want to get involved in. Why would you want to stop, you know, some of these religious way of taking an animal's life?
If it was by the religious way, they would cut the throat of that animal from ear to ear, and it would take approximately 4.5 minutes for it to choke and drown in its own blood. 4.5 minutes, and they will feel every single bit of it. And that is not on. With the stunning method, bang, done.
It needs to die the quickest, cleanest, humane way possible. And I'm afraid halal and kosher do not allow that. Medieval, and it's against our welfare standards in this country, which is some of the highest in the world.
As opposed to 4 million Muslims. So the scale of halal slaughter is huge. Your thoughts?
Well, there is what I call a regulatory arbitrage, because it's cheaper to actually slaughter halal because they're not as heavily policed and regulated as our abattoirs are, which explains why our abattoirs are declining and more meat is now slaughtered as halal meat. And what I want to put you right on is that it isn't a case of no stun, because in halal they have actually come up with what I call minimal stun, which I think is 15 volts, which very often gives the animal actually an epileptic fit and is actually crueler than not stunning it at all. So you've got to distinguish between our abattoirs that stun, I think it's at 300 volts, so they actually kill the animal before it's slaughtered. And this, what I call limited stun, which is used as a sort of shield to try and say that they've been stunned. Now, I have done a lot of work on this. I don't like the way in which a lot of these halal products are not labelled. So very often, you and I go into the supermarket thinking we're buying organic meat. And some of the biggest brands who you'd expect to be absolutely straight up in the way in which they procure their meat, because I think most of us don't want to eat meat that we think has been slaughtered in an unkind and an unfair way. So what you'll find is most supermarkets, many of them, are selling halal meat and they're not labelling it properly. So the first thing we need is well labelled halal, so that if people don't want to buy halal, they don't get hoodwinked into buying it, which is what is happening at the moment. I discovered that one of the hospitals, the James Paget Hospital in my constituency, was actually serving halal meat across the board and not telling people. And we got a whistleblower who, we're getting an increasing number of those, thank goodness, because there are still a lot of decent people in the UK. And we went to the hospital and they admitted they were serving it, and now they're properly labelling it. So you don't eat halal unless you know you're eating it. So effectively you have a choice. Poultry, Kevin, it's even worse. I mean, poultry, there is no stun. I mean, they just go through a couple of almost sort of circular saws which cuts their heads off. So, I mean, look, if people want to eat halal, that's fine, but I personally think kosher and halal, if people want to eat it, the meat they eat should be imported. I don't think most British people want to eat meat that's been slaughtered in that way. We want to know that our meat's been slaughtered in a humane, fair way that has actually meant the absolute minimum of suffering.